Okay folks, welcome back. This is your old pal Hondo. We already serviced this reel, and this is the on the late 80s Zebco, mid 80s Zebco 1 series. They made these reels from the 1970s, either in the Omega or just the standard 1 series. And they made it all the way into the late 2000s, like 2003 and 4, with the early import legacy ones. What a 1 is a beefier version of a 33. It's sort of a match between a Zebco 33 and a 733. It had this weird little power lever here that locked it or presented it. It was a 3:6 to 1 gear ratio reel. It also had a helix gear system that was brass and aluminum gear system. It had a double power handle crank and a star drag, and basically it has a wide range drag system instead of a SLD drag. It has a bait runner right here and a switch underneath it for the bait runner. Now, what was cool about this reel over Zebco 33's bait runner, you could still reel it with the bait runner on, and it doesn't click when you reel forwards. It only the bait runner only clicked whenever the line went out, so the fish could have enough time to get the bait in their mouth, so you could set the hook. It's a very good reel, and I think it was rated up to 15-pound test. You can put 20 on it if you want to. It's for big game fishing like catfish and giant bass, blue catfish and stuff like that. It was basically the beefier version of a 33. It was sort of a cross between a 33 and a 733. In this video, I did lose some of the original video where I took off the spinner cone, but I had to replace the plastic washers that went underneath the steel washers. They basically eroded and broke off, and I had to repurpose some from an old Zebco 33 Classic I had laying around. Hope you all like this video. This has been your old pal Hondo, and show you how to fix and restore a Zebco 1 Feather Touch Classic with the catch control. We had to take it off cam real quick to scrape off the old plastic Teflon washers, and I found another set of Teflon washers on an old broken Zebco 33 Classic, and they seem to fit, so we're going to go with these instead of the original plastic washers in hopes they work to fix this reel. That's why it's good to have a bunch of spare parts reels around. We did have to clean up all the old plastic stuff that was around here because they were stuck on, and they basically fused to the reel itself. You know, so we had to scrape it off with a flathead screwdriver. These are the two original metal washers, and hopefully these will work for this. They might be a little bit undersized, but oh well, they're just going to have to work to fix this problem. So if you got that problem and you got one of these older reels and then these little plastic washers get dry rotted, you could always have a little parts reel laying around that's a Zebco 33 Classic from the 80s, and the little plastic washers out of that one should fix this problem. Should, but we're going to try to. Now that that's over, we got that top piece off. We're going to take off the little metal washer. It goes back in this way, the way you put it in, right here, right there. It goes in like that, and we'll put that off to the side. We'll clean that separately. Once you get that off, you can take off the back plate at this point. Take that off, and we'll have to take off the star drag somehow. And it doesn't look very easy, and you got to remember where this little bait clicker goes. It's not like a Zebco 33's bait clicker by any means. It just clicks on and off, and there's like a little plastic piece around the gear, the pinion gear itself. So we're gonna have to take off the handle here with a small wrench. I think a size 8 might do. No, size 10. We don't have a size 10 offhand right now, so I don't know where it went. So we're gonna have to use an adjustable wrench. I don't know what I did with that size 10 wrench. Oh well. We use this adjustable wrench here and winch the handle off here by hand now. And the handle crank comes right off. So right here's the drag block right there. I guess it pushes up against the frame of the reel. There's a little pin here you take out. There seems to be like a little pin on the inside of the gear wheel here, like right here, that you have to somehow jimmy out of there. Okay, there it is. Somehow you got to get this little stupid pin to turn around for you to where you can actually remove it. And then once you get that thing straightened out, you can somehow, oh, there it goes, finally. Had to pull that sucker out and that pin came right out. Don't know if I bent it or not, but if we did, we could bang it. Yeah, I bent it. We could bend it into place again and try to hopefully fix that. Just bend it back. Now that comes out, now you could just twist. I guess we could just twist this out like this. It'll unscrew itself and a little sleeve will come out. We're gonna have to clean it too, I guess, with a toothbrush and some Q-tips. Now that that's out, we can remove the pinion gear. Pinion gear goes back in here like this, flat like that. Once you put it back in, it does have one ball bearing. Remove the pinion gear, and the wheel gear should come out. Should, doesn't mean it will. We may have to remove the anti-reverse switch here. Easier said than done. We're going to need a small tool for this. Right here there's a little indentation that you could push it. We did have it in place. You push on it like that and it comes right out. The little gear here has to be pushed out through here, I guess. And use a small screwdriver like this on top of that little pin. It comes right out. You take it out, so you have to take the little pin out, I guess, in order to take that gear out. And now I think I could remove the gear now. Okay. Comes out. This little roller block right here goes in its place, I guess, to hold it all in place. Just remember where all this stuff goes when you're done. We're going to put take the pawl mechanism out now, which is right here on the back. And we're going to take a small screwdriver and remove the pawl mechanism. And get that out if we can. Little pawl right here. It's a little R-shaped switch pawl, goes back in that little slot like that. Okay, folks, this reel is so dirty we're even gonna have to put this in a parts bowl here and put all these parts, the body, the washers, the wheel gear itself, the pinion gear. The spool is bad. The handle crank, this thing's getting it too. And might as well take the drag washer too down, and the covers are filthy, so we're going to do those as well. The cover and the spinner cone as well is getting it. And we'll clean this reel and we'll get back to you when all the parts are clean. Hey folks, we finally got the reel cleaned with a toothbrush and a wire brush on just the gear parts and a toothbrush on the plastic parts. We cleaned it off some 409 and cleaned out the spinner, cleaned off the grease off of here, off of the star drag here as well. Put a small Q-tip through that, put some Q-tips through here and here and here and here and here to clean out the old grease. Cleaned the old wheel gear, it was really awful, and we cleaned it off with a wire brush, and we cleaned the pinion gear off with a wire brush. Has a nice little brass gear wheel, and from further inspection this actually had a really good undamaged pinion gear, so this will be a fantastic reel when we put it back together. Clean the spinner head and the spool, the covers, and the other miscellaneous parts here, but we're going to try to put it back together as fast as we can. We're going to re-grease everything and try to put them back in the order that they came from. We might mess up along the way, but it's a learning experience. First thing we're going to grease up is the wheel gear, and we're going to use some of this Lucas Red's grease, tacky grease, lithium grease. And first thing you always want to grease is the wheel gears. The first thing you always put back in is basically put some of that grease on the teeth of the gear itself, and just glob it on there until it gets into the teeth. You really don't need much grease. A lot of people over grease these reels and ends up screwing them up. Put too much grease on is what you have to take off later. And basically once you get that part greased, you hold it like that, then you put on the excess grease, just a little bit of grease on your fingers. You don't need that much, but put in a little bit of excess grease on the back of the wheel right here, and on the wheel gear on the shaft. That's all you need there. We're going to grease this up here. This is the pinion gear. You just want to grease it up from the gear wheel itself all the way up on the shaft like that, and you know, just a little bit more will do. A little bit right there. Don't worry about the back end where the spring is. You could always just take a little bit of oil and just drip it on the back of the pinion gear itself on that spring. That's basically all you need, really. Once you grease that, you put a little bit of grease down here in this what's left on your fingers, or just, you know, a little bit down here in the where the ball bearing is, and put a little bit of oil on that ball bearing itself. Oh, didn't go in there, but there it goes. And I'll put some on this front of that shaft and the back end of the shaft as well, just in case it needs a little extra. Once that's greased up, we got to grease up these little washers as well. I don't want that much grease, jeez Louise. Too much. Put a little bit of grease on that one. Coat this other one with a little bit of grease. You don't really need much, just a little bit of grease, and a little bit of grease on the drag washer itself, to get that to go in there like that. And a little bit of grease on this here little anti-reverse switch right there, pretty much. You want to put grease on the inside of the reel here, so it has a smooth surface to run around on, so it doesn't cause any friction. You want to get it all over the place in here, so it has a nice little smooth surface to for that spool to move around on, so the drag will operate. And just put it all over everything right here, you know what I mean? Get it into the holes, you know, you just want to get grease everywhere. We'll have to put that stupid little pin back in there to and now we want to grease you hold down the pickup pin, get a little bit of grease, and just go behind it like that, and just work it in there in the back right here. It doesn't really matter, you're just going to need to get some grease there so it has something to slide in and out, so your pickup pin will work properly. You just want to lube that all up, and stick a little bit of grease oil on the cam and behind it itself, and that's basically all the grease you need to put on that. There is no greasing holes on the top of that, so you're just going to have to grease it like that. Once that's greased, grease the spool. The spool needs to be greased as well. Doesn't need much, just a little bit on the bottom, center, and on top of the spool itself. Right there, just put a little bit of grease on top in the center of the reel, and that's pretty much all we need to grease. That's all the parts that we needed to grease. We got oil on them, we got grease on them, we got everything. Now we can reassemble the reel. We're going to reassemble what goes in first, which is the wheel gear itself, which was a pain in the butt to put in the first place. We're going to oil some of these other parts in here too, in the reel here. Just not much, you don't need much. Okay, now that we got that into place, we can start to try to put in the wheel gear. You want to work it in halfway and put this little metal doodad in here, which goes in here somehow. You got to make sure that back of that wheel gear goes to that hole on this here gear, and somehow we got to get it in here. Maybe I put the gear in here too prematurely. Put it in here like so. Put that in there first, and then put the wheel gear back in if you can. Okay, it goes through the hole. We lost a little bit of grease doing that, but it's okay. We'll just recoat them teeth again with grease. And that should do it. And okay, we got the L stinky wheel gear in there. Once we get that in there, we can replace this little switch here. The way you want to do it is you want to lay it flat on the holder itself, like so, and then you get your little brass pin. It's this little thing here, goes on top of it, and you just put it through the hole to get that little plastic piece to go in there. It's not easy. Okay, you just push it down in there. It should just go right in there. And yeah, it goes in there really easy. So we got that in place. Now we can return the anti-reverse switch that goes on the other end. Put a little bit of grease all over it. My fingers are already greasy, so put the the bait clicker switch in here. I think that we might have it. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Then the pinion gear goes back into place here. I think it goes like this. I'm not too sure. It goes on top of the gear or under it. I really don't know. I've never put one of these together. So yeah, I think we might have it. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Alright, once you get that out of the way, we can put in the gear. The star drag here goes in here a certain way, and then you kind of screw it in. Once you screw that in, hopefully we catch it outside, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you gotta like screw it in there somehow by holding the stupid star drag into place. Well, this is interesting. You have to screw that in there until it, I guess, locks it into place, and then you can put the pin back in this little mechanism here. When that pin shows up, there's a spot where you put the little pin in here, and it should be right there. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I think we got it there. Let's check it to see if it's working correctly. Okay, we gotta take this little anti-reverse switch and put it on the back of the wheel gear here, in that order right there, and we'll put the little R switch mechanism right here behind the wheel gear. Goes in like in an R situation, and somehow we're gonna have to move it out of the way to get it to go in there. You have to move this little mechanism right here out of the way to get it to go in there properly. If we can get it to stand right, and there it goes. It goes right in there like that. That little R switch mechanism. And I think we might have it. I'm not too sure, but we'll check it in a second. Once you do that, you can put the little anti-reverse switch right here in, and it should go over that little anti-reverse mechanism like that to engage it and disengage it when you need to. You check that is you Yeah, hey, we got it working. Yeah, it's working. Okay, that's fine. That's working. Put a little bit more oil down the shaft here. In there. So it works. All that goes together like that, as you can see. The final thing we need to do is put this little pin right here behind the gear here. Try to get it in here so it goes into place here, and once we get that in, we're good. Okay, I think we got the pin in place there. Alright, I think we got it there, folks. Now that that's done, we can put the back plate on it, and that's a successful cleaning job on the gears, and put it back together. Oh, no wonder it's not on all the way. It didn't go on all the way. See, it's sometimes these plates, when they get old, they don't want to go on quite all the way. And I think we got a fixed service reel here. I'm not too sure. I think this is good. And yeah, I think we got a good service reel here. And now we're going to put on the front. First, we're going to put on the brake washer. Goes on top of here like that. And okay, that goes on there like that. We put another metal washer on top of it like so. And now we can put the spool in. You want the little notched edge to go down on top of that. When you put a small plastic washer over there on that one, put the spool back on there, and it should go into place. Put another plastic one right there on top of that, and put another one of these metal washers on top of there, and we'll replace the pin in here if we can, if it does want to go in there. Once it's lowered all the way, put the main pin back in halfway, and then take a pair of pliers and just smush it down on top of the reel itself, and there you go. That's on there. We're going to put on the spinner cone. Once you get the spinner cone on tight, and put the handle on it, of course, put the handle on the spinner cone, and put on the nut that goes on the spinner cone. I'm going to put a couple drops of oil in the handle here and here, and tighten up this with a size 10 wrench with the handle. Should go right on there, and once we do that, we'll have a fully serviced and repaired reel. Yeah, there you go. It's on there tight. Put on the front cover. You want the hole on the cover to face down. Okay, right here. And we got that on there, and okay, there you go, folks. A fully serviced Zebco 1 reel. If you like this video, please hit the like, share, and subscribe. It's like a brand new reel. We're going to be using it this summer. Y'all take it easy. You know this has been your old pal Hondo from Hillbilly Tactical. You put God first. He puts you first every time. You know what else, YouTube? God loves you. So does Hondo. Peace out, YouTube.
Tell me pretty lies. Look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.